I got this book today, the Shoninki, The Correct Lessons of the Ninja. This translation is by Don Roley. This one is awesome. I wish I had Anthony's on hand to compare them, like, exactly. But, the way that Don adds, like, his commentary, it makes it so much, easier to read because, Don says basically he's a native English speaker who has his proficiency in Japanese is like the highest there is. So he can convert it properly for someone who speaks English so that the concepts transfer over like perfectly. There's a few spelling mistakes in it, but that's that's nothing. I'll let you know, Don, what pages they are if you want to correct them. Um, but this is just awesome stuff. It's the same. It's the Shoninki, so there's not really much else to say about that. It's really his view on things that changed it. The Amigasa, though, I always consider that, in this book, the illustration is like the Ronin Gasa, the one with the holes so you can see through. I always consider the Amigasa the one that's shaped like a upside down taco shell. But I don't know, I guess that's you could use the term for both because he also refers to the Kamuso Gasa as an Amigasa. But Amigasa just means braided hat, so technically it could be either way. But I guess that's just like what I've seen probably has a different meaning nowadays than what it meant here. Let's see. The one thing, like when I saw Anthony's friend, whoever that guy is, playing with the fake birds, and he's crossing the river, with a blindfold on, and he has a gag in his mouth. Like when they talk about Baiboku, this is cool because I forgot to mention that it has the original Japanese next to it, so you could see. Cause I was looking at this one part, and it says by key, and it has the kana for by, and then the kanji for ki, moku, boku. So this in Don's version it says by key, which Anthony translated as by boku, and he says it's the gag that you put on a horse to muzzle it. But when you put a stick in a horse's mouth, that's not a gag. It's something completely different. And when I've seen the gag that goes in your mouth, I've seen that for in the torture books from Now Sensei. So I think that the idea of gagging yourself is kind of stupid. But what Don says is it's by ki, which is a different word. It's a mistake that's in the book because there's a few mistakes in the original book, and it means like forecasting. So it's like a way of two people communicating without using words because they're working towards the same thing, as opposed to a guy who gags himself and runs around, which is stupid. Like, why would you gag yourself? You could just keep your mouth shut. You could put a tiny wheel over your mouth. You could do all that stuff. So that makes more sense to me. Let's see. What else? I have these sections marked off. Oh, and then the other thing, another thing that was just done recently, about this sword. It says backwards. It says something's getting closer to you. It goes down. If it's going further away, it goes up or whatever. It's just a backwards thing. But the thing is, instead of sticking your sword in the ground, which, I don't think you stick your actual sword in the ground. You could touch the side to the ground. Or, this says in here, lay down with your sword, like you're close to the ground, so you put the sword on the side, you put the fan across like this. It's the same technique anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's not really that different. But, either way works. Let's see what sections I have marked off here. when hiding underwater. Don says, it says that you could use a scabbard to breathe through. It says that's impossible. That one I'm going to have to disagree with a little bit. Yes, it's impossible if you're over a meter deep and you're using a saya like that. But the way that Rich did it was, it's still pretty hard to do. You only have basically 3 feet before the water pressure changes so that you can't technically inhale. But if you, do I have a wakizashi around here? I should, somewhere. I don't think so. Either way, let's use this. So, let's just say this is wakizashi length. Instead of like this, cut a hole and go from here, like a flute. So it's more like a snorkel because you have that angle. But yes, using an actual saya with that depth is impossible because of the water pressure. But like in Togakaryu Shinodake, you could use that as long as it's not exceeding a certain length, or as long as you're not a certain depth underwater. Let's see. Next section. Oh yeah, this one. I just marked this off just because it was funny. Because it's about Kawarima no Jutsu. It's like in old days we used life-size dolls. So I thought that was funny. Yeah, but everything is pretty much straightforward in here. This is an amazing book. Well, I gotta find the page that I put. Yep, there it is. Basically the book, the history of the book, is just like I was talking about with the Bansen Shukai, how it's like they're trying to impress someone. Same with this one. It says, the history of the ninja found in the Shoninki should not be taken too seriously. In a roundtable discussion, noted ninjutsu scholar Tobe Shinjuro, I have a ton of his books, was asked by another respected scholar, now Ayumiya, of course, what he thought of the history of the ninja as found in the works of the ninja of the time. His response could be translated loosely as complete bullshit. These works were made public and served the purpose of making the ninja look as good as possible for both the ninjas and themselves, for both the ninja themselves and the powers that be. That is exactly what I've been saying about the Bansen Shukai and how it's so like half the crap is stuff that doesn't work. We got stuff that does work, and we got stuff that you need kuden. But that's exactly what it is. So this book, I would say, is more straightforward, but a lot of the stuff, some of it's based on superstition. Don gets into that, how he's like, even though they're pragmatic, they're still from that time period, and they're stuck with those superstitions and that kind of stuff. But definitely buy this version. This is awesome. I love the fact that the Japanese is there for you, so you can check exactly, which characters are used. You could work on it yourself if you want. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. Just even if you already have Antony's version, just get it to compare. See whatever you think is good for yourself. Learn Japanese, compare it. Do all that stuff. You're not really going to find too many people who are as good as Don is at translating this. But yeah, a lot of the differences you'll see are mainly the difference between basically Nakashima Atsumi's version and that's because he did the modern thing, but there's a few different versions. But definitely get it. Go to contact Don, Colorado Bujinkan site. I'll post it down below so you can do it, but get this book. Definitely get it. Nothing else to say. Can't wait for the rest to come out.